I Am Born, Part 1, February 12, 1963. I am born on a Tuesday at University Hospital, Columbus, Ohio, USA, a country caught between black and white. I am born not long from the time or far from the place where my great-great-grandparents worked the deep rich land, unfree, dawn till dusk, unpaid, drank cool water from scooped-out gourds, looked up and followed the sky's mirrored constellation to freedom. I am born as the South explodes. Too many people, too many years. Enslaved, then emancipated, but not free. The people who look like me keep fighting and marching and getting killed. So that today, February 12, 1963, and every day from this moment on, brown children like me can grow up free. Can grow up learning and voting and walking and riding wherever we want. I am born in Ohio, but the stories of South Carolina already run through my veins. Second daughter's second day on Earth. My birth certificate says female Negro. Mother Mary Ann Irby, 22, Negro. Father Jack Austin Woodson, 25, Negro. In Birmingham, Alabama, Martin Luther King Jr. is planning a march on Washington, where John F. Kennedy is president. In Harlem, Malcolm X is standing on a soapbox talking about a revolution. Outside the window of University Hospital, snow is slowly falling. So much already covers this vast Ohio ground. In Montgomery, only 7 years have passed since Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat on the city bus. I am born brown-skinned, black hair, and wide-eyed. I am born Negro, here and colored there, and somewhere else. The freedom singers have linked arms, their protests rising into song. Deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome someday. And somewhere else, James Baldwin is writing about injustice, each novel, each essay, changing the world. I do not yet know who I'll be, what I'll say, or how I'll say it. Not even 3 years have passed since a brown girl named Ruby Bridges walked into an all-white school. Armed guards surrounded her while hundreds of white people spat and called her names. She was 6 years old. I do not know if I'll be strong like Ruby. I do not know what the world will look like when I am finally able to walk, speak, write. Another Buckeye, the nurse says to my mother. Alrighty, I am being named for this place. Ohio, the Buckeye State. My fingers curl into fists. Automatically, this is the way my mother said. Of every baby's hand, I do not know if these hands will become Malcolm's raised and fisted, or Martin's open and asking, or James curled around a pen. I do not know if these hands will be Rosa's or Ruby's, gently gloved and fiercely folded, calmly in a lap, on a desk, around a book, ready to change the world. Good enough name for me, my father said. The day I was born, don't see why, she can't have it too. But the woman said no. My mother first, then each aunt, pulling my pink blanket back, patting the crop of thick curls, tugging at my toes, touching my cheeks. We won't have a girl named Jack, my mother said, and my father's sister whispered. A boy named Jack was bad enough, but only so my mother could hear. Name a girl Jack, my father said, and she can't help but grow up strong. Raise her right, my father said, and she'll make her name her own. Name a girl Jack, and people will look at her twice, my father said, for no good reason but to ask if her parents were crazy, my mother said. And back and forth it went until I was Jackie. My father left the hospital mad. My mother said to my aunts, hand me that pen, wrote Jacqueline where it asked for a name, Jacqueline, just in case someone thought to drop the IE. Jacqueline, just in case. I grew up, wanted something a little bit longer, a further away from Jack. The Woodson of Ohio. My father's family can trace their history back to Thomas Woodson of Chillicothe, said to be the first son of Thomas Jefferson and Sally Hemings. Some say this isn't so, but the Woodsons of Ohio know what the Woodsons coming before them left behind in Bibles and stories and history coming down through time. So, ask any Woodson why you can't go down the Woodson line without finding doctors and lawyers and teachers and athletes and scholars and people in government. They'll say, we had we had a head start. They'll say Thomas Woodson expected the best of us. They'll lean back, lace their fingers across their chests, smile and smile. That's older than time, say. Well, it all started before the Thomas Jefferson Woodson of Chillicothe, and they'll begin to tell our long story. The Ghost of the Nelsonville House. The Woodsons are one of the few black families in this town. Their house is big and white and sits on a hill. Look up to see them through the high windows inside a kitchen filled with light of a watering Nelsonville sun. In the parlor a fireplace burns warmth into the long Ohio winter. Keep looking and it's spring again, the light gold snow and dancing across the pine floors. Once there were so many children here running through the house, up and down the stairs, hiding under beds and in trunks, sneaking into the kitchen for tiny pieces of icebox cake, cold fried chicken, thick slices of their mother's honey ham. Once my father was a baby here, and then he was a boy, but that was a long time ago. In the photos, my grandfather is taller than everybody, and my grandmother just an inch smaller. On the walls, their children run through fields, play in pools, dance in teen-filled rooms, all of them. Grow up and gone now. But wait, look closely. There's Aunt Alicia, the baby girl, curls spiraling over her shoulder, her hands cupped around the bouquet of flowers. Only 4 years old in that picture and already a reader. Beside Alicia, another picture, my father, Jack, the oldest boy, 8 years old and mad about something, or is it someone we cannot see. In another picture, my Uncle Woody, baby boy, laughing and pointing, the Nelsonville house behind him, and maybe his brother at the end of his pointed finger. My Aunt Anne is her nurse's uniform, my Aunt Ada in her university sweater, Buckeye to the bone. The children of hope and grace. Look closely. There I am. In the furrow of Jack's brow, in the slyness of Alicia's smile, in the bend of Grace's hand, there I am. The beginning. It'll be scary sometimes. My great-great-grandfather on my father's side was born in Free, Ohio, 1832. Built his home and farmed his land, then dug for coal when the farming wasn't enough. Fought hard in the war. His name is in stone now on the Civil War Memorial. William J. Woodson, United States Colored Troops, Union Company B, 5th. A long time dead but living still among the other soldiers. On the monument in Washington, D.C., his son was sent to Nelsonville, lived with an aunt. William Woodson was the only brown boy in an all-white school. You'll face this in your life someday, my mother will tell us over and over again. A moment when you walk into a room and no one there is like you. It'll be scary sometimes, but think of William Woodson and you'll be all right. Football dreams. No one was faster than my father on the football field. No one could keep him from crossing the line, then touching down again. Coaches were watching the way he moved, his easy strides, his long arms, reaching up, snatching the ball from its soft pocket of air. My father dreamed football dreams. Awoke to a scholarship at Ohio State University. Grown now, living the big city life in Columbus, just 60 miles from Nelsonville. And from there, Interstate 70 could get you. On your way to west to Chicago, Interstate 77 could take you south. But my father said no colored Buckeye in his right mind would ever want to go there. From Columbus, my father said you could go just about anywhere. Other people's memory. You were born in the morning, Grandma Georgina said. I remember the sound of the birds, mean old blue jays squawking. They like to fight, you know. Don't mess with blue jays. I hear they can kill a cat if they get mad enough, and then the phone was ringing. through